Life is made up of many gorgeous moments. Cherish them all, big and small, with Blue Nile. Whether it's for yourself or a loved one, Blue Nile's unrivaled selection of expertly crafted fine jewelry and statement pieces help make all your moments sparkle. Blue Nile's experts are on hand to guide you, and their diamond guarantee ensures you get the highest quality at the best price. Celebrate a life well lived in the most radiant way and save up to 30% at BlueNile.com. That's BlueNile.com.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Fiscally responsible, financial geniuses, monetary magicians. These are things people say about drivers who switch their car insurance to Progressive and save hundreds. Visit Progressive.com to see if you could save. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary, not available in all states or situations.
Look around. You can find cars like these on AutoTrader, like that car riding your tail. Or if you're tailgating right now, all those cars doubling as kitchens and living rooms are on AutoTrader too. Are you working out and listening to this ad at the same time? Well, multitasking pro, cars like the ones in the gym parking lot are for sale on AutoTrader. New cars, used cars, electric cars, maybe even flying cars. Okay, no flying cars, but as soon as they get invented, they'll be on AutoTrader. Just you wait. AutoTrader.
No brakes, no fear. The official British Speedway podcast.
Welcome to the official British Speedway podcast for 2025. I'm Ian Brannan, and every week through the Speedway season, we'll be bringing you all the reaction, previews, and exclusive interviews from across British Speedway. So if you haven't already, make now the time that you like, follow, or subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss a single episode. And it's free to do. Coming up in this episode then, we're just going to be previewing the opening two meetings of the 2025 season. We're back with another episode next week. And next week, just to give you the heads up, we will be previewing the Premiership in a bit more detail. And we'll be joined by Premiership CEO and, of course, Grand Prix race director Phil Morris on the show next week. So we'll get stuck into the Premiership and all that kind of stuff on that one. For this one, focusing on the opening two meetings. In a while, we'll hear from Mark Lemon, the CEO and team boss of the Belle Vue Aces, as the National Speedway Stadium gets ready to host a star-studded lineup in the Peter Craven Memorial next Monday. But the day before that, this coming Sunday, that's the 16th of March, Niels Kristian Iverson gets the British Speedway season officially up and running with his testimonial. Before we chat to Niels, though, just a little bit of a roundup of what to expect over the opening weeks of the Speedway season. Of course, we've mentioned that it's going to roar into life with Niels Kristian Iverson's testimonial and the Peter Craven Memorial. We've also got Leicester's Ryan Douglas having their We've also got Ryan Douglas having his testimonial on the 22nd of March. There'll be more about that in next week's episode. And then we've got the Ben Fund Bonanza, which takes place at Oxford on March the 23rd. It's a 6 o'clock start time at Oxford for that one. But again, a great lineup of top riders in that. And then we get underway with the Rome Motor Oil Premiership campaign, focusing initially on the Knockout Cup, and then we'll move into the league action as well. Sheffield have a bye in the Knockout Cup through to the semi-finals, and the draw features a big clash between the Belle Vue Aces and the Ipswich Witches. So lots to look forward to as the opening rounds of the season get underway. We've got a new look to the National Development League as well. We've also got the National Development Trophy. The trophy itself gets underway on March 31st. The Birmingham Bulls host the Leicester Fox Cubs. Racing for Cab Direct Championship clubs begins in April, although several will be making their first public appearances at press days later this month. And then we have a big weekend to open up the championship season. We've got the Championship Pairs and the Championship League Riders Championship taking place on successive days, April the 5th and the 6th at Workington and Scunthorpe respectively. So it's once we get going towards the end of March, it is going to come thick and fast as we go through April. The season all kicks off, though, on Sunday at the Adrian Flux Arena, Kings Lynn, where Niels Kristian Iverson marks his testimonial year with a special 4-team tournament featuring sides that he's ridden for in the past, of course, not least Kings Lynn, but also Wolves, Peterborough and Newport, bringing back those teams if at least for just one afternoon only. It kicks off at 3 o'clock, and there's some stellar riders involved, not least Jason Doyle, Freddie Lindgren and Robert Lambert will be back in Kings Lynn colours. And earlier this week I had a chat with Niels ahead of his testimonial. We started by looking back at the start of his career, which was indeed with Kings Lynn back in 2001, which only seems 2 minutes ago, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's gone fairly quick, to be honest. But yeah, I came over in 2001. I was still in apprenticeship in Denmark. So I did a few meetings in the end of 2001 for Kings Lynn. So yeah, I came in and I was quite unexperienced, and then came back again in 2003 to do full-time with Newport. So it seems like, it doesn't seem like long ago. But then again, when I think back, then definitely a lot of time has passed and a lot of years.
Talking about the teams then there, you touched on a couple that you've been involved in, obviously Kings Lynn now as well, but Newport, Peterborough, Wolverhampton, obviously there's been others as well, but these are all teams that are going to be featuring in your testimonials. So you've decided to do it as a 4-team tournament, and you're bringing back some of these names that maybe have now disappeared from British Speedway, even if that's temporarily, hopefully, in some respects, but maybe more permanently in others. So Wolves, Peterborough and Newport are all represented alongside Kings Lynn.
Yeah, I think, that was the idea behind it, because the teams is not running at the moment because of no available tracks, and it's obviously it's not a good situation for these clubs, but I thought maybe I can bring them back for at least a day, and then it could bring a little bit of attention to these teams, and hopefully some of the fans will appreciate it as well, and maybe come and visit.
Let's have a look at the lineups then, because it is, as you say, a 4-team tournament and 4 riders for each team as well, starting with the Kings Lynn Stars and, some current and past Kings Lynn Stars there, but obviously the headline act there, Robert Lambert coming back in Kings Lynn Stars colours, that's a coup. Currently the world number 2, and he's going to be lining up with Jan Kvek, Chris Harris and Ashton Bowden. So that's a good mix of the present, of course, for the Kings Lynn fans, but getting Robert Lambert back over onto his home track as well. That's the headline the headline signing, isn't it? Yeah,
definitely. I rode with Robert for a good few years at Kings Lynn, and I was there when he just came into the scene, and I thought it would be really interesting to, especially for the fans, to see him at Kings Lynn, and also good for him to maybe come back and meet some old faces. So no, he agreed to do it, and I'm obviously really pleased about that. But the rest of the boys is in the current lineup for this year, and it's a good chance for them to get run in on the track and just go and have some fun.
A word about Kings Lynn in general. The team that's been assembled for this year, obviously the team finished quite strongly last year, and you fancied that if you'd have started how you ended, then it could have been obviously a lot different. But it does seem to have a strong lineup, and starting with Chris Harris at reserve, that really is a trump card, isn't it, for Kings Lynn? And really you fancy they're always going to have an experienced rider at reserve as the team stands now.
Yeah, I think that's the whole. That was the idea with the team. It's very level all the way through. We don't have like a rider with a very high average at number 1. But I think with the strength and depth, we should be able to perform consistently everywhere. And I think the riders that we have in the team is very capable of riding well home and away. So I think we could be in for a really good year, and we need to see what happens when we get started. But I think at this point it definitely looked really good.
It does look solid, and then the likes of Jan Kvek, obviously he's got a lot to. Probably lots to learn in British Speedway, but he started really well, and I think became a bit of a fan favourite as well, didn't he? The fans really took to Jan when he took his place in the Kings Lynn team. Yeah,
he's he got a great attitude. He shows up every time. He does his best, and he fights for the points when he doesn't win the gate. So fans like to see that, and they can see that he's trying hard on the track. So he keeps learning all the time. He had a pretty big year last year with the Grand Prix as well, and he's still really young. He learns all the time. So I think he could definitely improve a lot during the year, and it'll be good to see where he ends up when the season finishes.
Well, there's other Kings Lynn riders dotted about the other teams as well. Wolves, you're bringing Wolves back, which and you got 3 Wolves legends in that side as well. There with not least Freddie Lindgren back, but Sam Masters and Ryan Douglas with Nikolai Clint.
That's a really strong lineup, and they have Pete Adamson as team manager as well. So
is he coming back? Brilliant. Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's coming in as well. So that'll be good to see him back too. So no, I mean, again, it was also a bit of my plan to try and attract some of the riders, which has had an impact on the different teams. Obviously, it's difficult to get a full lineup in each side, but again, with Wolverhampton, then they haven't. It's not too far away since the last season, and yeah, Freddie, he's probably one of the biggest legends in the club, and with him being available to come and do these testimonials and for him to come and do my meeting is obviously also huge for me, and I think also for a lot of fans, and both from the other teams and also from Wolverhampton. So yeah, they have a really strong team. Sam was there for many seasons, and so was Ryan Douglas. So yeah, it's gonna be good. Then we have Nikolai Clint. He's in the team there too. But he started his career at Wolverhampton as well. I rode with him at Wolverhampton back in 2008. So and he's currently in the Kings Lynn team now. So no, it's definitely one of the good teams.
Going to be interesting because when Ty Woofenden was doing his speaking tour, Pete Adams was doing a bit of a stand-up routine as part of this, and I think part of the content was revolving around Pete Adams, and I think Nikolai was the butt of many jokes from Pete in there, so it could be quite interesting.
Yeah, Pete, he's always good for a joke or two, and yeah, I know Nikolai. He was living with Pete for quite some time, and he was very young at the time, so he was probably not as experienced as he is now, and yeah, maybe a bit immature at the time, but no, he's also grown a lot since then days, but no, it's always good to have a joke about things.
On to Peterborough then. Michael Jepsen Jensen, he's going to be riding, of course, for Birmingham this season, so great to see him back in British Speedway. Ben Cook will be riding for Kings Lynn, but he's racing for the Panthers, where he rode, obviously, in the final season. Danny King and Peter Kildemand. Again, strong lineup there, and some names that are going to be looking forward to getting the Peterborough Panthers race jacket back on once again. I know Danny King's tweeted about that, and he's looking forward to representing Peterborough again. Yeah,
I rode with Danny at Peterborough years ago, and he's obviously he's been around for a long time. So no, it was always good to have Danny in the meeting as well, and the same with Michael. I rode with Michael for a long time. He's a former Panther as well. And then we have Peter Kildemand. He's been a bit out of British racing for quite some time, but he's definitely a really, really good rider. I rate him very highly as a rider, and he's won 2 Grand Prix in the past, and yeah, he's been a bit too much injured for some years, and I think coming back to England is very good for him. I think he can probably get closer to his old self again, and it would be exciting to see him back at Kings Lynn. I think he rode really well when he's been there in the past, when he rode for Swindon, and then obviously Ben Cook. I rode with him last year, or not last year, that was the previous years at Peterborough, and yeah, he's starting at number 1 for Kings Lynn this year. He's also a very exciting rider, so it's again a really good team, and I'm pretty sure that the Panthers fans will be happy about that lineup. I'm very excited to see what they can pull out.
Yeah, of course. Peterborough had a lot of success, and of course with Rob Lyon as well. So there is that now, obviously, connection between Kings Lynn and Peterborough and all that sort of history. And then you got the Newport Wasps. Great name to see back again, and they've had some brilliant riders over the years, not least yourself. But Anders Rowe, Tom Brennan, and Jason Doyle will be lining up for the Newport Wasps. Great to bring this name back, and former world champion in Jason Doyle back in action as well. Looking forward to seeing him.
Yeah, definitely. Just to go back to Peterborough again, I also had Trevor Swales as a team manager, which was there for many years. So I just wanted to mention that too. So it's going to be good to see him again. But no, moving on to Newport. Doyle, he's obviously a former Newport rider as well as myself. Anders Rowe, he's a previous mascot at Peterborough at Newport. So we have 3 riders there with a great connection to the old team there. So and then we have Tom Brennan in as a bit of a wild card for Newport. But no, it's a great lineup. Obviously, Doyle, former world champion and still very much on top of his game. So no, it's a good team, and it's a bit of a mixture between me and Doyle, which is a bit of a experienced boys, and then we have 2 really young guns, which is on the way up. So that's gonna be very interesting too. Then we have Lawrence Rogers as team manager. I think he spent some time with the club there too in the past. So that's gonna be great.
Fantastic, yeah, and sort of, I don't know, ironic, fitting. I don't know how you'd say it for Jason Doyle. Obviously, with the accident he had was at Kings Lynn, which ended his season last year. So maybe good to put the ghost of that to rest for him as well, coming back to Kings Lynn and starting his season there.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't spoken to him about the accident and stuff, but I think he's mentally really tough. I think he's more tough than most of them. So perhaps it's good for him just to come and get it shaken off and get it out of the way. But I think if I know him right, then it's not going to play too much on his mind.
Yeah, I'll be going there to show what he can do, that's for sure. And obviously, with this being a testimonial then, are there any other changes to how the meeting will run? Have you made any other alterations? I know you've got some of the youth riders coming to do some laps as well, haven't you? Yeah,
there's going to be a few youth races, but then the plan is to have the 4 top scorers from each team going into a final, and then there's a final prize for a GM engine. And then, there's a bit to go for then for the boys. But I think the main thing is just to go and have some fun, have some laps. It's early doors to everyone, and it's just about enjoying the day, get some laps in, and just enjoy the racing and enjoy the meeting.
And how have you found it turning from rider to promoter and having to think about all the various things that you have to think about when you're putting a meeting together?
Well, I'm taking sort of step by step, but I had a lot of help from Stephanie Babb. She has been really good to put everything together behind the scenes, and a lot of other people has been helping in with doing programs. Obviously the track staff and the club at Kings Lynn for hosting the meeting. But yeah, there's been a lot of work going on. But I mean, I've taken it sort of step by step during the last couple of months, and there's been quite a lot of things to think about. But I think we'll see how focused I am on the day when I have to ride myself. But I think it should be all right. I should be experienced enough to deal with it.
And it is the start of a fairly busy week. There's a number of meetings on, not least the day after the Peter Craven Memorial at Belle Vue, which you're involved in as well. And that is pretty much a Grand Prix lineup of the eras, isn't it? There's former Grand Prix riders such as yourself and current riders too, but every one of them is a well-known name, and that's a mouth-watering meeting too at Belle Vue on the Monday night.
Yeah, it's really good. The meeting there is always, especially the last couple of years, it's been a really, really strong lineup in the meeting there. So no, I'm looking forward to go there. I always enjoy to ride the track at Belle Vue, and I did the home meeting in the playoff final last year there, and helped the team a bit. So I was invited back for the Peter Craven meeting, and yeah, I'm happy to be there. It's just about doing some meetings in the beginning of the season to get going and get yourself back in gear.
Yeah, and the thing with the Peter Craven Memorial, the six rider final, I think you've contested that in the past, have you?
Yeah.
Something a little bit different there, but at least there's quite a lot of space in that first bend.
Yeah, like you said, it's obviously pretty crowded with six riders in the final, but the track is big. It's got a lot of racing line and a lot of room in the corners to navigate a bit. So I don't think six riders is too big of an issue on that kind of track. So it's always exciting to see what the final brings. But first we need to get there. So hopefully I can I can make it count.
Absolutely. Are you doing the Ben Fund as well, or not?
No, not at this stage. I'm doing Dougie's testimonial as well.
Dougie, yeah.
The following weekend. So yeah, there's quite a few meetings before the league start, and it suits me quite well to get a few rides under the belt.
And your first meeting will be in the Premiership Knockout Cup into the quarterfinals. The 24th of March is the first sort of meeting in anger, I guess, for Kings Lynn. And you're up against the Oxford Spires. You were talking about Peter Kildemand, and he'll be on the opposite side of the pits, I believe, for that one.
Yeah, I think Oxford has a pretty good team again this year on the paper at least. But it would be good. It would be good to get going. Hopefully we can start off pretty well compared to last year. So no, it will be good. I'm really looking forward to get started and see what we can bring.
Yeah, and that start is important, isn't it? And it's the Knockout Cup, so it's not the full Premiership, I suppose. But that's perhaps been Kings Lynn's problem the last couple of years is trying to play catch up from a slow start and get that momentum, the confidence and whatever else that the team has when you've got a string of wins under your belt in the early part of the season. It's
always good to start off well. Then you sort of bring that momentum into the season and so we know it's important to get off to a good start. It doesn't matter if it's league or knockout cup or whatever it is. Then we are there to try and get off to a good result and I think it could be nice to start off with a win and get to the next stage of the knockout cup as well before the league even really starts.
Well, good luck for Sunday then. Sunday, March the 16th, 3:00 start time at the Adrian Flux Arena for your testimonial, and all the fun will begin at 3:00 on Sunday as British Speedway officially begins.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's really an all-star lineup as well. Robert Lambert, Freddie Lindgren, Jason Doyle, and of course Niels Kristian Iverson in that 4-team tournament between Kings Lynn, Wolverhampton, Peterborough and Newport at the Adrian Flux Arena. Sunday, March 16th, 3:00 start time for officially the first Speedway meeting in Great Britain. And then the day after, we've got the Peter Craven Memorial, which has got an absolutely stunning lineup of some of the world's finest riders, past and present, at the National Speedway Stadium. Talking about that and talking about a big year ahead at the National Speedway Stadium, we're joined by Belle Vue CEO and team manager Mark Lemon next.
No brakes, no fear. The official British Speedway podcast.
It is going to be a very big year of Speedway in Manchester as the National Speedway Stadium hosts 2 Grand Prix. They've also got the title to defend as well, and another title to be defended is that of the Peter Craven Memorial, currently held by club captain at the Aces Brady Kurtz. But his competition includes Great Britain's FIM Speedway of Nations winners Dan Bewley and Robert Lambert, former world champions in Jason Doyle and Chris Holder, top Swedish star Freddie Lindgren, ex-Aces skipper Max Frick and Ipswich favourite Emil Saifutinov will all want to have their say on where that prestigious title ends up. So, it is a busy time at the National Speedway Stadium. The man at the top of it all is Mark Lemon, and I caught up with Lemo this week to look ahead to the Peter Craven Memorial and what's set to be a very big 2025.
It's looking that way, as you just described it, making me tired just thinking about it. But, pretty exciting times for the club. There's no doubt about that. They've been crying out, for a Grand Prix since the place was built, and now we get the chance to live that and experience that Great opportunity for Manchester to have a Grand Prix. Obviously, losing Cardiff, we can't sort of deny that's, a big sort of, negative for British Speedway, but we hope that the Manchester Grand Prix can offer, a great city for people to come, and we know the racing is going to be out of this world on this track.
Yeah, and tell us about that phone call then. You knew you were planning for one Grand Prix to then have two, not just at the National Speedway Stadium, but two in 24 hours, really, back to back on the Friday and Saturday. And that must, I don't know, does that make it easier, or did that just double the amount of work? I don't know, what's the logistics there involved?
I'm not going to lie, I just got to Australia and I was 9:30 at night, and I was a couple of nice Australian reds in down my throat, ready for a bed with jet lag setting in, and I got the phone call to start discussions for a second Grand Prix. So I was pretty shocked and surprised and taken back, I must admit. So it meant the next 72 hours was computer back to the grindstone, working the midnight oil to see if we could make it work and make it happen. And obviously we committed to it, and to have one Grand Prix was pretty amazing, but two, wasn't so keen on, I'm not going to lie, to have the two, because I know how much work goes involved and how much it took out of our volunteers last year with the Speedway Nations having 4 big events in 5 days. It's a tough assignment, but I think it presented us a great opportunity, and hey, why not? Two racing nights, 2 Grand Prix. Let's give it a shot.
Yeah, and middle of summer, of course, you can't do any more than that for guarding against the possibility of weather situation, but that can happen anywhere in the world. But I think that rapid fire element of it, that a rider who maybe loses out because the semi-finals and finals are going to work differently this year, a rider who loses out, they want to set the record straight, and they can do that. They can go back and race another full Grand Prix 24 hours later, and you could have various little storylines like that.
There's a lot to be excited about. And like I said, I think the second meeting will be probably a bit more of a leveler, after the guys are sort of honed in their bikes ready for the second night. So we should see the racing even heat up more on the Saturday. But we've seen in the Speedway Nations, you talked about the Manchester weather. It was July last year and it was wet. So we're in June this year, and we can't. Fingers crossed we can't endure the weather that we had last year. I think last year it was pretty precedented. We had 26 events, and 21 of them were rain affected last year. So that really put a dampener on the season. Except for obviously we won some trophies, and Team GB won the Speedway Nation. So that sort of put this bit of sunshine there. But we come into a 2-day event. We know the track can handle the weather if it's thrown at us. The team and the staff, the track curators, like what we did and performed in the Duress last year. I think it really fills us full of confidence that we can do it. But Mother Nature can play its hand in anything, and we just hopefully this time we get a good run. But there's so many things I'm excited about. But I think first and foremost, people coming to Manchester to experience the city. I think a lot of people said Cardiff's great, it's a great atmosphere, the track's on your doorstep. But people probably don't realise the Manchester City's on our doorstep. It's a 10-minute sort of cab ride away, and there's so much more to do in Manchester than was Cardiff. So hopefully we can expose how great the city is here in Manchester, so that people can really sort of embrace the event.
It is going to be a big year, and it kicks off with a spectacular meeting as well. The Peter Craven Memorial on Monday, March the 17th. The big curtain raiser to this big year at the National Speedway Stadium. Brady Kurtz is defending champion, but the lineup is stunning. I think it's 12 either current or former Grand Prix stars lining up in this, and I think people are going to be in for a real treat of Speedway on Monday night. Are you finding that it's building every year, that riders are wanting to come and be part of the Peter Craven Memorial now that its reputation builds?
No, I think it's a great opportunity for the guys, first and foremost, to go and test stuff at the start of the season and sort of turn a wheel in anger after so long during the winter. So I think hand in hand, it's sort of the events built up over the number of years now. I think this is going to be the 30th anniversary of staging the Peter Craven, and it's a night's time that we've actually stayed here at this stadium. So like I said, it's been continuous here for the ninth season. We just like I said, it builds on year on year. The lineup gets better and better. Like I said, it's an easy draw for the riders to be attracted to, and I think that highlights what you can see in the lineup. Like, I get quite blown away, to be quite honest. Like when they all of them like agreed to me, like, do you want to come and do the Peter Craven? Yes. I think Matty Zagar, when he answered the phone, he goes, "Yes, I will do the Peter Craven Memorial." So it's fantastic. They're all excited to be part of this event, and I said it's been a time creating it. I think it's a real honour for us as a club to host the Peter Craven Memorial in respect of the great man himself. Obviously we've got to remember that I think paying tribute to this guy, obviously a two-time world champion who sadly passed his life was passed in a racing incident. The least we can do is honour the man and put on a show what we're doing. And like I said, year on year, it's just been building, and the lineup, I think, really reflects that.
And here is that lineup then. They've just added Max Frick to the lineup as well. So it's Max Frick with Brady Kurtz, Dan Bewley, Jamin Lidsey, Zach Cook, Norik Bladorn, Tate Zischke, Robert Lambert, Freddie Lindgren, Jason Doyle, Emil Saifutinov, Mate Zagar, Niels Kristian Iverson, Chris Harris, Chris Holder and Matt Zajanowski. And you've got the two track reserves in Jake Mulford and Freddie Hodder. So these are superstar names, and I think adding Saifutinov to this list, obviously many of these riders have competed in this, if not last year, in recent years. That is a mouth-watering lineup. And when you consider as well that 6 of them could be going head-to-head in the grand final as well.
Yeah, I think that everyone's sort of forgetting that. They've seen the lineup, thinking how great that is. But, we have a 5-rider, last chance qualifier where the top 3, qualified to meet the 3 top qualifiers from the 20 heat format. So to have a classic, 6-man final. We could probably extend it to a 6-rider, 6-lap final, but, I don't want to be too harsh on the boys at the start of the season. So, yeah, it's pretty, intense when they line up for the final, but, we'll leave the fireworks to after the event, not during the event on track. So, plenty to go for it. And like I said, it fills me full of nerves watching them go out there, but to see that lineup and how they perform around the track. We know it's one of the safest tracks in the world, and hopefully that reflects in the racing as well. But I think we're in for a pretty exciting evening.
We've seen some terrific races in the Peter Craven Memorial Meeting in the last couple of years particularly, and I think back to those battles between Dan Bewley and Robert Lambert when they were throwing the bike at each other, and I think in either, if it wasn't a final, it was a semi-final or one of the final heats where they were really going at it. Freddie Lindgren was involved. Once we've had drama with Jason Doyle, who's a multiple winner of this tournament as well, and he missed out last year as well in maybe some controversial circumstances on the first bend, and a few fireworks also, as you say, but you've got fireworks after the meeting as well. So there's something a little extra into the admission price this year. Yeah,
no, exactly. Like I said, year on year, we've been building the event up, and obviously we want to give a little bit back and put a good show first and foremost. So the riders will do their bit, no doubt, but as a promotion, we have to do our bit too. So. And I said there, the ticket sales, are being amazing, the take up already. So it's looking like potentially a sellout, which, if that's the case, I'll be, just astounded. So I'm pretty chuffed with that. But, I think that's the thing is, you put on a good, event with the top riders, and hopefully the fans will support it too. So there's not really much more to add. And like I said, let's hope the fireworks, at the end of the night, not during the night, but because obviously you got to remember is that the boys, the first part of the season, kicking the season off, so that they got to find their feet too at some point.
That would be incredible, wouldn't it, to start the season with a sellout like that? But when you've got a lineup like that, it is going to bring Speedway fans from all over as well. Everybody's been sort of starved of Speedway these last few months, and keen to get back and see the very best riders in action.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So, and like I said, I think it says it itself, really. The boys want to come and do this meeting. It's become the sought after meeting they want to do at the start of the season. I must admit, if it was during like June, July, maybe we would struggle to get this lineup, but worry about that. That's another problem we worry about. But obviously the forecast looks good, and looks like we're going to have a good show on Monday.
It feels now that the Peter Craven Memorial has established itself as one of the pre-season meetings for many riders as well. I know there's a few big meetings going on in Poland, but it does seem now that it's got a reputation of being a quality event where riders know they're going to race against other top professionals. It's a chance for the GP boys to get a bit of a flavour of some real competitive, action on a track as well. I guess there's a double side to it now. Some riders get to have another go around the National Speedway Stadium, and some of those you'll be facing again the week after, whether they're riding for Ipswich, and some of those others will be coming back perhaps in the Grand Prix in June.
Yeah, I think when you look around the globe, some established events, you go like part of it's the Golden Helmet, and there's the Alfred Smokchek, the Thomas, I can't remember Tomic, is it the Tomacek? I can't remember. There's one in Prague. There's some big open meetings. Lubis Tomacek, that's the one I was going to say, in Prague, and there's some big old meetings that happen around the world that some of the boys want to be part of. And I think we've created that with the Peter Craven Memorial. Like I said, it's the start of the season, so it's definitely a good time to jump on board, because obviously they want to test bikes, get track time. It's been a long old winter to get out there, and I said not only the fans are eager, I think the riders are pretty eager too. So, and credit to our team and our track staff. Obviously we always put on a great track for them to ride, and smooth and safe and fast. And I think pretty enjoyable. It's just one of them they can come and relax and enjoy, but that they turn the wick and the tempo up towards the end of the pointy end of the night, when I think that's when everyone grabs everyone's attention.
Yeah, so that's the Peter Craven Memorial then. Monday, March 17th, 7 p.m. the start time for that. And as you was mentioning there, get your tickets, because you're not going to be there on your own. It's going to be a big, big turnout to see some of the finest riders going at it there. And then the week after, you're up against Ipswich in the start of the Premiership season with the Knockout Cup at the National Speedway Stadium. And for the Aces, you begin your, I know it's not the league, but it's start of your defence as being league champions, I suppose, and a slight difference to the lineup. The big one, really, I suppose, is you've swapped your cooks over, and Ben moves out, Zach comes in. But yeah, I think Zach. Anybody who's seen him riding for Poole, that you're getting probably getting a slightly more aggressive rider than Ben, but certainly with similar talent.
Yeah, I mean, it's always unfortunate, when you have a successful season, and then if people know the rules and regulations, when you normally have a successful season, you have to tear down your team the following year to meet the points limit, and that we've been doing that pretty much year on year for the last couple of seasons now. So you get punished for being successful, but we've been able to manage and adapt and bring people into the framework. It's obviously disappointing for me to let Ben Cook go, because he had a great year with us and was just a great servant for the club. But Zach, being his brother, spent a bit of time with Ben here, so he's quite familiar. So it feels like a nice transition. Awkward conversation, phone call. So, sorry, Ben, you've not got a job, and Zach, would you like to come? So, but that's the part and parcel of being a promoter and a rider, and everyone sort of understands why these things happen. But no, I really like the feel of our team. We've had some continuity over the years. It's kind of like put the processes in place to get the season off to a good start, and the bond is already there, it's already built, you don't have to create it, and sort of there's been a bit of a winning formula, so why change? But I think we're expecting a bigger year from Dan Bewley, and that might sound a lot, but he was carrying injury pretty much most of last year, so we saw the fruits of his performance and health kicking at the tail end. And then Brady, the same. He was obviously carrying a few injuries last year, but he had an absolutely amazing year and thoroughly deserved to get through to the Grand Prix. Probably was a little bit long time overdue, but he's there on his merit, and certainly deserves that spot, and he will shake up the Grand Prix as well. But we got Jamin Lindsay. He probably didn't have the best year last year, but it was definitely a catalyst in the performance when it came to the playoffs for us winning. And obviously got Norit Bladoon, he's only 22 years of age. He's still young, a young guy. So people sort of think he's been here forever, which seems it, but he's had 3 seasons in the UK and he's won 2 premierships, so that's not bad going. But he's been a real interesting character to have in our team. That I think that works well. And of course we've got Jack Jake Mulford and Tate Ziske down at the reserve berth, which probably got plenty of firepower for us, I think. And but we'll just nurture them and monitor them, and no pressure, and let them perform when they can and as they will. So, yeah, it looks pretty good. But then you look across the board at the Premiership, and there's some really strong teams out there, and I think it's going to be an epic season. I wouldn't like to predict, the winner of the top four. Every club's ambition, or should be ambition, or it's definitely our ambition, is to make sure you get that top four, and nothing really changes. We kick off the season against Ipswich in the Knockout Cup. We've been kind of knocked. Well, we have been knocked out of the first leg for the last couple of years, and controversially, we missed out on a super heat at Sheffield last year. So we want a little bit of, not revenge, but we want to gain some momentum in that competition, because to go out so early is quite heartbreaking, but probably benefited our Premiership campaign. But I'd like to have two ambitions and another trophy to the cabinet, but we won't get carried away with that just yet. We've got a big hurdle. It's going to be a tough one against Ipswich for sure.
And starting against Ipswich, though, from a promoter's angle, it's a great tie. It brings back Jason Doyle and Emil Saifutinov again, but also the return of Tom Brannan, who will be lining up in Witcher's colours on his former track as well. And obviously Adam Ellis, part of the Witcher's lineup, won a British Championship there, as did Danny King. So they're full of riders who certainly, well, either ridden for Belle Vue or had individual success around the National Speedway Stadium over the years as well. So it's not going to be easy. No,
and a certain Jason Doyle and Emil Saifutinov go pretty good around here too. So and young Dan Thompson, I really like the look of Ipswich teams. They've got a good balance. Obviously, they've got that continuity from last year. And let's be honest, like last year, they were the best team. Before they got decimated with injuries, and obviously we know, we've been there ourselves with injuries, how it can affect your come playoffs time. So I really felt for them, but not taking anything away from our success, because at the end of the day, you got to win when it matters. But I think you talked about young Tom Brannan. Obviously he's very familiar with Belle Vue. Obviously we had a number of years here at the Rising Star berth, and we've watched him grow and develop as a rider, and he come on even leaps and bounds at the end of last year as well. So he'll be one to watch and keep an eye on. But I think equally, firepower, we're man for man, and I think we're as good as any team. So, like I said, it comes down to the night when you go racing, and I think the fans are going to be pretty happy with the competition, home and away. But I don't want to be predicting anything. This one's going to be a tough one. There's no way of looking at it any other way. It's going to be an epic knockout cup. First leg.
A big clash to have in the first round, that's for sure. That's to be fair, but it'd be a good one to be watching. Well, look, all the best with everything. It's set to be a busy start to the season. We'll no doubt catch up with you in good time. But all the best for the Peter Craven on Monday as things get going at the National Speedway Stadium. 7:00, tapes up there for heat number 1 and the first heat of the season.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you for your time.
As Belle Vue CEO and team manager Mark Lemon ahead of the Peter Craven Memorial with another stunning lineup, a very special occasion. 17th of March, it's a 7:00 start time at the National Speedway Stadium. Brady Kurtz, the defending champion, but previous winners, a bit like a who's who of Speedway greats: Ivan Major, Ollie Olsen, Peter Collins, Chris Morton, Jason Crump, Greg Hancock, Jason Doyle, and of course Dan Bewley, who will be getting their name on the trophy this year. Well, it's going to all culminate in a 6-rider, 6-lap final on Monday night in Manchester. That brings us to the end of this particular episode of No Brakes, No Fear. Just a little one to get you in the mood for the season, which, as I say, gets underway on Sunday with Niels Kristian Iverson's testimonial. We'll be back with another episode next week. I'll be joined by special guest Premiership CEO Phil Morris with us as we take a look ahead to the Premiership campaign getting underway, and of course British Speedway roaring into life as we get towards the end of March. Thanks for joining us. We'll be back next week with another episode of No Brakes, No Fear. Take care. See you then.
No Brakes, No Fear. The official British Speedway podcast.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.
Check engine light on? Take the guesswork out of your check engine light with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan today.